You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag beer time, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers cart horse?
And just do something terrible. Just shit beer.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with the sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
We're having some good conversation here, Mr. Troy.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Are we all fair?
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Hashtag Beer Time, the show where we talk about beer and, well, we mainly just drink beer. Today's show is no different, so let's get straight into it. Who am I talking to? I've got an old friend of mine. His name is Dane, and he has recently moved to North Carolina in the United States, and he was very kind enough to bring back some of his favorite American beers. We got to try, let's see here, we got to try the Unknown Brewing Co. pre-game. We had the Highlands Brewing Amber Ale, the Kona IPA, and the Dogfish Head 60 Minutes IPA. So a nice little collection there of beers from the States. We got to chat about other things in general about beer, his other favorites in North Carolina, how many brewers are actually popping up every now and again. We speak about transporting beers overseas and the legalities around that, tailgating, NFL touchdowns celebrations, why they were banned but now are back apparently, tasting flights, should brewers be doing more tasting flights, and we spoke about the Great Word Challenge. It was a nice, very cool chat that we had with Dane. We were obviously joined by Mazza, co-host, and we really enjoyed the show, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Cheers. It is that time of the day. You know it's Tuesday. It's just gone a few minutes past 12. And it's time. It's time for Hashtag Beer Time. I don't know why I always act surprised, like to say what time it is, but it's just pretty much only one time it is. One time it always is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, T-Bone Troy. First 5 minutes of the show always are the hardest. That's because there's no beer in front of us. Guys, in the studio, we've got a great show lined up for you on this pre-Valentine's Day special, romantic show. In the studio, got the legendary Mazza Middleton. Welcome
T-Bone,
back.
thank you.
Oh, fantastic. And then we've got an old, what did I say old? But an old time buddy. And that means we've known each other for quite some time now. And he is visiting us from the good old states, North Carolina. North Carolina. Mr. Dane Ogilvie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Troy. Or Troy Lilly, as we used to refer to you back in the day.
How long have you been holding on to that?
What was it?
Troy Lilly.
Ooh.
Yeah, still don't know where it really came from, but it stuck during junior school.
I think it
Very
because I
sultry.
played water polo and I kind of just sat in the water and just waited for something to happen.
Thanks
fantastic.
for having me.
Yes. Cool. No, well,
That's okay.
I think the thank you needs to go to you because you have
Muled.
muled is a great word. You have muled us
Very accurate there.
some delicious beers from your neck of the woods. So, as is customary on the show, enough chit chats.
Let's get straight into it.
Let's get straight into it.
Can I ask first, Dane, these beers that you've brought, are they your favorites from back in the States, or are they what you had, or what's the story behind them?
So,
What was your selection process?
So the one is my favorite beer. It's my go-to whenever the day ends. This is like, if there's that on tap, no questions asked.
And that's this.
No. That's
Okay.
the next one. And I know that you said you prefer to flat tire.
Yeah.
New England, New Belgium,
New
sorry.
Belgium, yeah.
New Belgium flat tire, which is quite a statement.
Yeah, I mean, I started off with Fat Tire because I was trying to find a beer in the States that I would kind of easy go-to beer, and I didn't want, your buds, your cause, anything like that. And craft, like the hoppiness of the beer is something that I've got used to, but when I first moved there, I wasn't used to at all. So I found amber ales, and I then found the one that's coming up next, which is my favorite go-to. But this beer that we're having at the moment,
Tell us more.
So this is from Charlotte, where I live. It's a cool little brewery down there. I mean, breweries in Charlotte pop up every second day, but people there don't really know how to brew beer. They like the idea of owning a brewery, but then they just don't know how to brew beer. So they usually bring out an IPA that throws as much hop in, and they're we made an IPA.
Disguise,
That's interesting.
Where these guys know what they're doing. And how I came about this beer was actually Christmas.
Mazza, just show the people on the screen there what you're drinking there.
Oh,
Christmas was the first time I got this. What I said to my wife was, for a gift this year, go and make me a 6-pack of beer, because you can do that in the groceries over there. So I know I'm getting a 6-pack of beer, but I didn't know which ones, so it was a nice surprise. So she went and got 6 different ones. Mm-hmm. One of them was this little guy, and it was just I feel like it's a nice hot day drinking kind of beer.
It's called what's it
It's
called?
called pre-game.
pre-game session ale.
Yeah.
And
It's got a great write-up to it. Very like, is Charlotte like a big football town or?
Yeah, so we've got the Panthers over there. We lost out
Sex
in the...
Panthers.
Well, those two.
Lily Panthers.
Aren't the Sex Panthers from Dodgeball?
No, they're not called Sex Panthers. They're called
Vipers.
Something.
Vipers.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sex.
Six Panthers from Anchorman.
Ah,
the phrase.
Yes.
Like 60% of the time, every time.
Oh, no. Actually, sorry. It's all coming back to me. We had a soccer team, a 5-a-side soccer team, and we were called the Sex Panthers.
I feel like you started from Anchorman.
Yes, no. And we came out
Maybe
onto the court. I don't know why.
It says here, today is going to be this is on the can, everyone. It says, today is going to be a big day. It may be a tailgate, a pontoon party, a wedding, or running with the Bulls. It's time to pre-game.
Yeah, so
Smash it in your face.
The Unknown Brewing Co.
What? It's got an interesting name. I don't know. I'm not a fan of calling yourself something like that. An unknown.
It's like
Or maybe it's
like no-name brand.
I'm trying to think if someone else has done something similar.
Yeah, pick and pay. No-name brand.
No, well, in terms of beer.
well, the can design, the simplicity of it reminded me of
And Union.
Yeah, just that kind of stark kind of two colors. Not really getting into much. Very simple.
I thought that's what it was when you pulled it
So
out.
just
very similar. Yeah.
Just to explain to the people, it's a bright yellow can, very flat and 2D in terms of design, and on the front it's got the Unknown Brewing Co. bottom and in the bottom of the can, and then it's what appears to be a hop cone connected to
a sickle.
It's making
malt.
a question
It's
mark.
a question mark. It's a question mark. It also looks like a sickle, but you've got the malt and the hops connected.
What do you think of the beer?
Yeah, see the labels. The label, the logo sticking too close to that. I would just move it a little bit down and just. But that's my OCD coming through. The beer it's a pale ale, huh?
Session
I got a bit of
ale.
a-
It doesn't say. Session ale.
I got a bit of
Very corny.
I got a bit of a wheaty note on the smell.
Yeah.
I was just expecting an American pale ale, which
Yeah.
is going to be that crisp hop coming
Very
through.
light body.
But I'm getting more when I sniffed it first. It was more like an American wheat. So maybe they
very
have
interesting.
maybe they have put a little bit of wheat in there just to.
It's got the opaqueness to it. Could definitely be. Very light in colour. It's almost
Let's-
like
Look
almost
at
pinky.
that. Guys, I'm actually
t-shirt.
gonna call it. I'm gonna say it's a cross between an American wheat and pale ale. Maybe it is just an American
I was going to try Google it.
a hoppy wheat, similar to Stefan's from Little Wolf.
Yeah, that's very aromatic compared to this.
Yeah,
Very hop forward.
Yeah, whenever in the States it's a pale ale and IPA, you'll
You
taste that straight away. Which is why this is it's just a lot smoother than those.
Yeah. It's just it's very approachable.
Yes.
It doesn't have something. It's got notes in it. We always say if you're introducing beer to someone here who doesn't drink craft beer, you have to give them a bit of a pre-warning to what they're going to be drinking. And that feels like you can give them a little bit less of a pre-warning than something that's aromatic and bitter and fruity and just got different notes to it.
Yeah.
This is more along the lines of safe,
Yeah, it's just
while still being really nice.
it's an easy, safe kind of beer to give someone, as you were
Yeah.
saying. But yeah, it's one of my favorite breweries in Charlotte. So that's why I kind of picked it up. I mean, there are so many to choose from there.
I'm extremely jealous that you probably live in a state that is just littered with craft breweries.
Oh,
And
it's ridiculous.
you've probably been to more than most
Humans.
yeah,
Alive.
right at this time.
I feel like I went to more breweries than most people just in Asheville.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, Asheville was ridiculous. Like the amount of breweries and the diversity of breweries. You've got something like Sierra Nevada, which is like the Disneyland. Like just the brewery and the structure itself is phenomenal. And then you go to somewhere like Green Man, which is this tiny out of the garage, but still make a great kind of seasonal amber, good IPAs. So I mean, yeah, that little town we got one from the oldest brewery in Asheville.
Very nice. Yeah, no, I'm sorry I didn't come visit you last year. With my American trip. I think the finances were a bit tight.
You should have
I probably would have just spent all my money on beer,
Yeah.
much to my
It's
wife's
very easy
dismay.
to do.
Cool, but yeah, this is actually a very nice pre-game beer.
Could
I-
definitely smash a few of those.
Yeah, I think it is an American wheat.
Yeah. It's definitely
Don't
wheaty.
I was watching this other podcast TV show, very similar to ours, but
Modeled on
modeled on
this.
hashtag beer time.
Yeah.
But it was a game show, a computer game, TV game,
Yeah.
and the whole, I don't know if it was called the Cube or whatever, but everyone was sitting on this big desk. They all had those microphones, but they all had their computers and stuff, and these massive microphones and stuff. Anyway, what I was saying is that, we should probably get the co-host and the host some computers, so while we're talking, we're like,
Just get information.
just yeah.
Yeah, you hold authority on everything.
Mind you, we've got phones. Well, you don't have your phone. Anyway,
I had something important to say, but
mine was.
it's just escaped.
Were you talking about the session?
I can't remember.
Okay, well, I think this was a great hoppy wheat.
It's a great way to start. It wasn't very hoppy, but it's definitely wheat.
I can see how you'd
Yeah.
smash 6 of those.
Yeah. And at Tailgate Oaks.
Have you been to Tailgate?
Tuckin. Yeah, we went to one. We took some biltong along.
Ooh, how did that go down, eh?
We've done like a treat.
It sometimes doesn't, eh?
Yeah.
Foreigners, it's one of those things,
They
you know,
prefer
if you're
the
from,
jerky.
if you're from like the UK or something, you have black pudding and you find out it's just congealed blood,
Yeah.
grossed out by it.
Yeah.
But if you've been eating it for your whole life, then it's
Just
standard. It's great.
It's delicious.
Whereas not that, like meat that's just aged
Yeah.
is a bizarre concept for people, and sometimes
Yeah.
they're grossed out by it and they hate it.
Yeah, it did take a while to explain the difference between biltong and jerky, because a lot of them were like, "Oh, but it's jerky," and I'm like, "Oh no, jerky's kind of smoke dry, and like that's how you kind of, it's pretty much cooked.
Yeah.
Where this is not cooked at all, it's just
Yeah.
air dried, but we took like a whole tub and it just was smashed within like the first half an hour.
What pre-game was that? Or what
So it was
tailgating?
the Panthers. So the Carolina Panthers were playing. Do you see where they're playing?
I want to say the Sex Panthers. But it
You
wasn't.
can. We all know who you're talking about, the Carolina Sex Panthers. That's a different pedophilic.
Stupid question, but can you tailgate at... Does it have to be football games?
You can tailgate before your wedding if you want.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's
Yeah.
just a... Okay.
It's just a thing. I mean, tailgating at college football is a big thing.
So it's just basically rocking up in a car and just having
It's a car bar. That's what it is.
Open
Except
in the boots of your car, and there's just a cooler box full of
everything. There's chow, but Oaks have got grills.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and they've all got their TV set up because guys will go and tailgate, but not go to the game. So they'll watch the game outside the stadium because they just want the atmosphere. There was
Without having to queue for drinks and stuff.
yeah, and not paying an exorbitant amount
Yeah.
But
for.
I find that just so amazing and bizarre that you'll go to these college games, any American football game, and the stadium is packed. Like we're talking 80 to
Yeah.
100,000. No matter what your team is, like
Yeah.
you don't get that anywhere else in the world. I don't think.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of South Africa or New Zealand,
Brazil
Australia.
with the football.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But this is like a full on, like this is what you live for on the weekend. It's like sports, beer,
And-
barbecue.
And colleges, like the college sports, are sometimes followed bigger than
Yes, I've
And
heard
the
that.
NFL.
yeah, because all the professional teams can be traded at any time to another city. That the loyalty relies on the university because they know
Yeah.
they're going to be there.
Yeah. I've always wondered why it's bigger. Is that the main reason?
That's one of the main.
I would
reasons.
imagine the
Yeah,
emotional connection to
Yeah.
the team.
But it's more like you don't necessarily have to have been to that college. You just, the fact that you're from there and the college is there,
Yeah.
that's where your allegiance comes from.
yeah, and then you'll have people who have moved from. I mean, we've got guys like from Alabama that are like, that's it. No matter what, they've been living in Charlotte for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
It's
Is that
Alabama.
is that Roll Tide?
Yeah, it's-
Alabama.
I
Tide.
think it's Alabama.
Well, it depends from what part you are.
Yeah.
Scott
If you're from
Kelly.
Cape Town, it's
It's
Alabama.
Yeah,
Scott Kelly is always correct me and say Alabama.
Alabama.
Alabama. Guys, I didn't have a beer in front of me.
No,
Let's
I don't
go
either. I
on
was
to
gonna,
the...
if you started talking, and it didn't
Slap
involve
me.
what you just said, I was going to cut you off.
Mazza, you're the co-host. You have a certain rank. Jesus. Let's see.
Ooh, what comes out of the bag of tricks?
Mr. Dane, you can actually explain or describe
Ooh,
this
this is,
beer.
I'm very excited for this.
And I will say this. We've had it on the show before.
Oh, have we?
Ooh,
Okay.
have we? I haven't. I was
This
not
is
on.
the Amber Ale. Eh? It's
Unfortunately.
the Gaelic Ale from Highland Brewing Company, a Scottish brewing company in America.
Yeah, so they're out of Asheville, and this is, as I was saying earlier, like it's my favorite.
You'll go to
Yeah, just
the banker.
it's never let me down. And yeah, they're out of Asheville. They're
It looks amazing.
Ooh. This is so it's got a. For the people listening, it's got a
Copper,
copper
strong
dark,
copper shot.
amber, very clear color. It's beautiful.
look, I can always have more. So a bit of background about this is
It's malty and delicious.
it's owned by a guy called Oscar Wong.
Wong.
Yeah, who came over from Jamaica.
Fantastic.
Like at
I'm
the
loving
age-
the story.
Yeah,
Oscar
yeah,
Wong
you've
from
got so many-
Jamaica.
With his
He's got-
Scottish beer.
Yeah, he's got 4 nipples and a
A dog named Lily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was the first legal brewery to open after the Prohibition in Asheville. Yeah, so obviously there was a lot of underground stuff kind of happening, but I mean they were the first one, and now they're the longest and biggest. And obviously he loved the kind of Scottish Irish kind of heritage coming along in the Appalachians, which was quite big at one point. So he's gone with the name the Highlands.
Amazing. It does have I wouldn't say, not to be said in a horrible term, but it does have a bit of a dated feel to it in terms of the logo.
No,
the
it
name.
definitely does. Even the font, like, I know what he's going for with the kind of Gaelic kind of font, very kind of Celtic. But, it does feel like it's got a bit of heritage in there, and I don't know, I think that's what he's got.
When you sent me the list of beers, I think you typed one button. Yeah, it's the E and the R are so close to one another on the keyboard, so you wrote Garlic Ale. And I was like, ugh.
I'm up for anything.
Yeah.
It's-
It says family owned since 1994, solar since 2015. Is that like solar power?
Solar powered, yeah. So Asheville is quite an interesting place in general. It's very, as they say in the States, heady, which basically means like bungy hippie.
Okay.
Like very, very much like that. So they're all into like renewable energies and everything. So yeah, they've been kind of setting up there.
That's what the show was about last week.
No, well,
This is good.
This is good. I'm going to have a little sip.
yeah, it's, for me, the
very
kind of maltiness and the kind of the deep caramel that you
Yeah.
kind of get from it.
It's a beautiful beer.
Oh, it's clean.
Yeah.
And it has a,
It doesn't have like an overpowering maltiness to it.
you know,
It's
the
just
problem
really
is
nice and-
what differentiates this from maybe a local amber ale. This is very low bodied, whereas some of the other beers are a lot thicker.
still a 5.5%.
No,
of
but
it.
this is still
Yeah.
like easy and just pours down, soft.
Oh, very nice. I can definitely see. We like when I started out drinking craft
Definitely
beer.
some toffee coming through.
The sort of progression for me, and I think it has been for a lot of people when I didn't know anything about craft beer. The easily approachable, accessible beers, and it was also, I think, one of the big beers that pushed craft beer in the country was the CBC Amber Weiss. Excuse me, and I think so. That was like one of my first craft beers that I used to have more of than other craft beers. Then I got into amber ales. And the amber ales I've seen locally have had a bit more of a decline. Like everyone's moving towards the hoppy, like
Yeah.
pale ales, IPAs, the lagers, the not so hoppy, the lagers, but there's very few amber ales.
Which is weird because, just sorry to interrupt, but that's, for me, the first kind of beer in Cape Town was the Citizen Amber Ale. That was the first beer that they ever made, that they only made for, I mean, quite a few years. It was maybe 2-3 years. I mean, I must ask Gary from Citizen how long he had the Amber Ale before introducing the other SKUs. But also,
That's the alliance, eh?
what did I say?
No, I think you said that alliance. I'm just-
I was thinking I'm going to move on to the And Union because And Union also had the red amber lager. So those were the oldest amber ales that were, well, I say oldest, but one of the oldest amber ales in Cape Town when the whole craft beer thing started. And yeah, it's true, there has been a bit of a decline. But one thing I did always remember as a home brewer, the amber ale was kind of your go-to. If you didn't know what to make, your first beer, you'd always just make an amber ale because it's got more malt than you would expect in a lager. It's got more hops than you would expect in a mainstream lager. So
Is it easier to get right as a home brewer?
it's kind of
Or
it's
if you-
kind of a default. If you
if you mess it up,
yes,
it's still all right.
it's got the biggest range or the scope for
Unless
error.
you're just hopping it mad. Like,
Yeah.
as you say, a lot of the guys, they just hop. And hopping aggressively can hide faults.
Yeah.
That in a stout, there's a lot of room for error. Stout, you can hide a lot of
Because of
flavors,
the
but,
flavors that's in it. So
an amber
normally
ale-
quite power.
Okay.
If you make an amber Weiss or a pale ale or whatever, and you just don't hit it, you can it's like scratch off scratch on the label. It's entry form amber ale. Not that I did that.
Didn't you say you were going to bring one of you made that beer for National Beer Day, and you bottled some special ones, and you said you were going to bring them.
I also remember that.
Yes, but we only bottled it last week Wednesday, so it's probably still a bit young and green.
I'm fine with that.
We will have it. What's next week? We got Stellies on the show next week.
Dean?
We've got Bruce from Stellies. Oh,
Bruce.
Wacky Bruce. Guys, this is delicious.
That is a very good beer.
This is a very delicious
so-
beer. I'm very jealous that you're going back home in a week's time or whatever. And we'll
Was
have
it-
a fridge full of these Gaelic ales.
Was it a mission to bring them down?
No, it was fairly easy. Actually, yes. Had to bring a second
Such a mission.
bag. And,
Yeah, it was basically just bubble wrap the entire bag.
yeah, this is the only set of clothes I could bring.
Amazing.
No, it was pretty easy. The only thing that I couldn't find out is how many beers you're allowed to bring back into South Africa. Because a lot
Before
of
you
start getting taxed or
Yeah.
like they take them away.
There's no
limit.
hard written tangible fact in terms of beer. It's
Okay.
only alcohol or liquor.
Yeah,
That's
but wine as well. Wine,
It's in the law. It says wine or hard liquor.
Oh,
So
there's
there's nothing
fine.
but beer. So you could argue your point if you get stopped at customs and say, look, why for me?
Could you?
Why do you have
Could you,
15 beers in your bag?
bag?
But the argument is you could say no, they're just samples.
Sitting at the seams, bags just like
Squirting up. They're samples, you're not. They're not for resale. You're from a homebrewers club.
yeah. Watch me drink them right now.
yeah.
If they confiscate that's it. That'll be the biggest hashtag
Yeah.
time session. Just
Yeah.
try and get your recording
Very
out.
live.
I'm going, guys. 6 a.m. Games on International.
But when you do drink at like one of the only times you can legitimately drink at that sort of time is on a flight.
Yeah.
Because there's always, on a big international flight, there's always 2 meals. So they'll serve you dinner at like,
11.
yeah. Like, what? Then you're drinking and then you, like, even if it's a lunchtime or a breakfast and a lunch, like they serve you lunch at like, if the breakfast is very early, they'll serve you lunch at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, the beer with that, please.
Yeah, no, they do kind of. Well, the worst is when they, as soon as the sun hits the horizon, it's like 4 a.m. Lights go on. 4:30, you got breakfast in front of you.
Yeah.
Try to sleep. You're woken up now. There's fucking eggs in front of you.
Eggs and this
Sausage and mushrooms. That long sausage. Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. I had. I'll get the next beer out, but while I'm doing that, I had a trip to Joburg this last week.
Yes, I saw that. You went to Mad Giants. Sorry.
I tried to check in hand luggage to go up to the flight because that's all I needed. But then I remembered you can't take anything more than 100 mils.
No, you can on local flights.
Can you? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I reread the rules and they said no, it's still 100 mils.
No, because I had stuff in my bag that was definitely over 100 mils and I didn't want them to confiscate it. And I was like, can I take this?
And they were like,
And
sure.
they said, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Because now I know for next time. But anyway, I actually took my country road bag. You know, those flimsy little country road bag. Thank you for maybe sponsoring the show, Country Road. And then on the way back, I got a beer from Mad Giants. And it was one of those 750 mils whiskey barrel aged porter. And this thing was so delicious. But I got them to wrap it in bubble wrap. I then got my slip stops and I put them around the bottle, then wrapped that in shorts, then another blanket or another towel. Because those country road bags were flimsy. So yeah, I had
And you were checking it in.
and I was checking.
And
it.
those oaks, there'll be 2 stories
Oh,
up
yeah.
and I'll throw.
Oh yeah, and I covered that thing with those red fragile stickers.
Yeah.
And actually, when I got on the conveyor belt, it was totally upside down.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh god. Quick sidetrack. If anyone is coming back from overseas and they're arriving at Joburg International Airport, and you are bringing beer back or anything fragile for that matter of fact, any glass or anything fragile. The conveyor belts at Joburg International arrivals is so badly designed.
It comes down
up, and it comes down off the conveyor with such force that if you do not have proper protection or anything, it's gonna whack the bottom of the conveyor belts, and in my case, break a very expensive Czech beer in your bag.
Only Czech beer.
This was when I came back from the Czech Republic.
Oh, okay.
And it broke the 750 ml.
And you wrapped it up nicely.
Oh yeah, no, wrapped in shirts and wrapped.
And it's nice to get stouts out of your clothes.
Oh,
it's really nice.
But then it's just you took your bag off the conveyor belt and there's just liquid just pouring out.
And you're so happy to be home, and you instantly just drained like the bottle.
Yeah, your tears mixed with beer.
Yeah, that's the one thing I always fear when I bring beers back from wherever I am, is as soon as I get that off the conveyor belt and I start wheeling it, I always just check behind me if there's a stream of liquid. So if there is, I'm just going to just ignore this and just carry on. There's nothing I can do about this.
Just pick up your bag and put it on the desk of the complaints.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's... Yeah.
I just want to find out, where's the closest conveyor belt? It's over there, and you pick it up and there's just this puddle of beer.
Let's go on to our next beer. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, we're talking about beer. And the next beer is... I'm trying to think if I've had this before. I
I haven't.
might have. It's from Kona Brewing Company in Hawaii.
I think
Hawaii.
we've had something on
It's
the
called-
show from
It's called Castaway. It's an India Pale Ale, and
very clever.
I
very
might have
clever.
I might have had the Pale Ale from them, but it's just
So,
sound effects there. Quite on set.
so now we were speaking earlier about the using solar power. This beer or this brewery is completely
Beautiful color.
Off the grid.
Yeah, they're
They're
completely
heady.
sustainable.
What they're heady? What do you call it?
Heady.
Heady. They're heady.
How do you spell heady?
I imagine it's Heady. Imagine. But no, these guys are completely solar, completely recycled water that they use, and then they also, I don't know if it was a bit of a joke, but they said the leftover wheat that they use, they make pizzas out of it on site. So
It sounds very heady.
yeah,
Yeah. Far out.
Yeah.
Tubular.
but
I don't know if I'd want
Fresh.
to eat a pizza that's got spent grain in it. Spent grain's basically just tasteless.
Jack Black did that with their spent grain. They made biscuits for dogs.
Yeah, for
And I
dogs.
tell you what, they were delicious. They were
There's a big
very
difference between
very tasty.
biscuit for humans and dogs.
no, but you like when
Dogs are great. I love them.
You
Don't
keep
get
them-
me wrong, but they're
you
dogs.
keep them in your car when you were driving around as a sales pitch, and then when you just didn't have time to stop at a Woolworths or anything, then you reach for what's available. No, they were pretty tasty. I don't know if they do it anymore. Okay, so this has got a beautiful orange color. It's almost like a
So for me, this was like, and it still is my gateway to IPAs. As I said, when I first started off in America, all the hoppy beers were really hoppy, like IPAs. I slowly developed a liking for pale ales, and then I bought a 12-pack of this because that's a case. There's a 12-pack. Three of these, 3 golden, 3 lagers, and 3 pale ales, and this I had. You progress up the line to hoppiness. So this is like my kind of gateway into IPAs because it's not that hoppy.
It's nice and smooth, yeah.
I can.
It says
It's very-
smooth yet spirited brew.
There we go. It's got a very fruit punch kind of aroma. Like it's got some citrus in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
melon. But I know what you mean. It's not like that sharp cascade, hoppy,
That sticks with
slap
you.
in the
that
face.
almost dries out your kind of whole mouth.
It's not. Yeah, it's not overly bitter either. And it's a 6%er. It's nice. Like that's the thing that we notice here is a lot of the
Ooh.
beers overseas are a lot just like bigger. This doesn't necessarily feel like a 6%er because it's nice and smooth and it's got body to it, but it's not like packing a big punch. We normally associate like a big punchy beer to have a higher alcohol or higher, and it normally does what it does. But this is 6% and it's nice. Like it just can sneak up and kick you straight in the ass.
But this is, in terms of American beer, this IPA is actually quite low on the scale in terms of alcohol.
Yeah,
And if you think about, what's the percentage of a black label? It's like 5.6,
5.5.
somewhere around there. It's so close to this. So
Yeah.
this is very easy drinking, and you can easily smash these back.
Liquid Aloha. I like that. This bottle's very cool. It's got the islands, the Hawaiian Islands embossed on the
very,
bottle.
very clever.
Very.
Are you gonna have a street map of where your brewery is? On the bottle?
No.
What would you put if you
If I could.
could do anything on your bottle?
That's huge. Darling have got the DP.
An engraving of you
DB?
scoring a try on
Yes.
diving.
Yes.
Hey, let's do that. Your mascots scoring a try.
Giving the celebratory hands up at the end.
I'm alive.
It's like I always used to ask, what would be or like I try to influence some people and say, if you're scoring a Super Rugby try, you need to do a celebration. You know, like the New Zealanders and the Australians, they went through a phase of like dancing. We've got Trevor Nyakane who does this lekker dance.
Flo used to do the bear.
Oh, did he?
Francois Lowe used to do the bear on the ball, and then
Yeah, I try to like, what would be your celebration? You know, you could, like, nothing that's really been done. You know, you can get your teammates to come in, like, there's a lot of football stuff.
yeah, the American
Some
football
soccer.
stuff has been pretty cool. The stuff that
Yeah.
we've seen in the movies, and
Yeah.
And they just brought that back. They made it legal again.
Oh,
this
is
year
it now
for the first
legal?
time. Yeah.
You weren't allowed, what's it called?
Celebrating.
Showboating or...
Touchdown celebrations, yeah.
Why did they bring it back? Did they just say, like, things should go boring?
Yeah, I think it was that. It was just like, we need a little bit of a flair here.
Yeah.
You know, you need something.
Because I remember that became illegal.
Obsolete, yeah,
or,
it
like,
was-
you would get
yeah.
fined for it or something.
Yeah.
oh, so you could celebrate. You just couldn't do
Yeah,
something.
you could
get
give
all
a
your
high
teammates to do that.
five,
You couldn't do, like, if there was any,
High
like...
five, slap on the bum.
I remember watching there's a show called, I'm sure you've heard of it, I think it's called Hard Knocks. And it's like pre-season build-up. They follow
Oh,
a
yes,
team, so
yeah.
it'll be like the Bengal Tigers or whatever.
Yes, I've
and
seen
they'll
it.
follow a team pre-season. And
Who
it's
gets
insane.
cut?
And they like show this one guy who's a bit of a character, and they say why, like, he's asking the coach what he can do to celebrate and what he can't. And he's doing like this little dance, and then he starts like putting a tiny bit of hips into it, and the coach is like, can't do that.
Oh, yeah,
Can't do
yeah.
that. Or it wasn't a coach, it was like the legal advisor or something.
It's
yeah,
a comedy.
No, it was legit. It's a documentary.
really? Oh, really?
And yeah, the legal advisor was like, you're actually not allowed to do that. Because he's like, I just want to get some clarity because I'm definitely still going to celebrate.
Yes.
But it's, I don't know
Yeah,
if
it's-
everything was cut or it was just, no, you can
No, it's-
high five and a thumbs up and run back to the halfway
Yeah.
I suppose it's very similar to the soccer thing.
with your shirt off.
Yeah, you weren't
Yeah.
allowed to take your shirt off. You weren't allowed to.
But you're not allowed to anymore still.
No, you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
Right, they're quite strict on that. I don't know what I would do, Murray, to answer your question.
Well, come up with something quick, putting you on the spot.
Well, let's go to our listeners. Let's see let's see who's phoning on the lines.
I think catching a barrel is quite classic. Paddle in, catch a barrel.
Catch a barrel. Okay, surfing. Okay.
That's one. Haven't gone out, just trying to get the ball rolling.
I'd like to see the worm. I'd do the worm.
Yeah, but can you do the worm?
I would be able to.
I've been to a wedding or two with you and I haven't seen the worm.
I prefer the slug than the worm.
Yes,
Feel
the
like
slug
that's-
is genius.
That's
The
more
slug-
topical at the moment.
The slug is
Yeah.
very topical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Especially if it's like
I don't think
during
I've
the first
seen, I
dance.
don't think
Yeah.
I've seen this like
You have to have seen
really.
it. You just sort of fall on your face
And then you, like,
and then you
inch
lift your bum and you
and
move
push on
forward
your
like
head.
that. And your head's just on the side and you just...
I did actually try.
I need to go to a
Have you
wedding.
done it?
I tried to do the slug at the wedding this weekend, but the dance floor was AstroTurf, so I didn't go too far. I kind of got a bit stuck.
Yeah, you
It's a
don't
very
want to.
heady dance floor. That.
Very heavy. I was more just kind of like bum up for a couple of seconds and then just rolled out of it.
You clearly didn't try hard enough because you got no grass burns on your temples.
Yeah, no, there was not a lot of effort at that stage of the night.
Guys, let's. I feel we
Your suit also takes a bit of a beating doing that.
let's play a little song there, just while we're waiting to catch our breath. Should we play a song, Massa?
Can we segue into it? If not, then I'd rather not. It's all about segue songs.
Okay, well, how about instead of the worm, we crawl? No? Anyone? Okay, we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
I had a couple of options. What's that one song? Is it called Butterfly?
Like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're my butterfly. It was such a weird song.
Oh, this is nice. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, I must say,
It's a cool label as well.
and the
Show me some
guys,
crackers.
Yeah. You're a cracker.
Yeah.
and the guys that like wrote, like they just seem like characters, like awesome guys to go and
Sounds
just
like
hang
such
out
a
with.
character, yeah. And they've got a cool, like, you go to a burrito or whatever there, their oaks are like very welcoming when you meet the brewers and stuff. That's what
Yeah, very, very welcoming. Also, you're literally allowed to taste every beer on that they have. There's no like, people are like,
Oh, fuck, we can
they're like, you'll go like, I went to one called the Wooden Robot, and the brewer there, he had like massive turban on, and I was like, have this and have that. By the time we had every single beer, I was like, I'm done here. I need any more beer here.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, how much is that brewer really going to lose out on in terms of...
Nothing.
Have you bought his beer since?
And you become a fan.
Well, we ended up buying a flight after that. Is a flight a thing here?
Yeah, it is. But I mean,
The taster flights. Like
Yeah,
1, 2, 3,
yeah.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
got a beer house. They've got a couple of different flights.
Yeah.
They're doing that nicely. They've got like a hoppy flight. They've got like a sessionable
okay.
flight. They've got like a dark flight, local flight. They do that nicely. And then any other, I think any other brewery you go to, if they've got a selection, they'll give you a flight as well. Right, I saw this interesting article. Well, I follow Stone Brewing on Instagram.
He's suing someone
Yeah, they're suing
Miller's Coors
Miller's Coors.
for changing Keystone beers to Stone.
Stone Light.
Yeah.
And they said it's blatant why they're doing it. So it'll be interesting to follow that whole case.
It'll be over before you know it. They'll pull the name, but it's just so to get Keystone out again. Because Keystone's...
But you think, but
He's
surely
running for
once it's
Brighton.
out there, there's still. I don't think it's worth talking. We can talk about it if you
No,
want.
let's talk
But
about let's talk about resorts. But so we're going to talk about the Great War Challenge after the break.
There's a lot of people who've pledged, eh? I could try WhatsApp and find
Yes.
out, but
What is the Great Word Challenge?
it's part of it's a competition that's going up. I think there's a brew pub called Afro Caribbean Brewing Company, and they at Banana Jam.
Okay.
And so it's the same owners, and he's brewing like 400 liters of wort or whatever, so that you can come as a home brewer and the hard yards are already done. So everyone's starting with the same base beer,
Okay.
and then hopping it and fermenting it differently.
Okay.
We're on in 20 seconds.
How does the hopping work though? If you're getting the wort, oh no, then you're boiling it still.
I think you still have to boil it. Which is fine.
Go onto Instagram. You bloody prawn.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much. Welcome back. And I think we just needed a quick break. We probably didn't need a break, but it's nice to just break things up.
Everything we spoke about off air, we're going to speak about. Just doing everything 2.0.
No, we just needed to iron out a few creases there. But two things we wanted to talk about. Upcoming events. Firstly, a shout out to everyone listening. I know that we've got a few Tasting League captains listening. We've got some beer friends listening. Lots of friends.
I'm pretty sure no one from America is listening.
No, you never. We actually
Huge
get
listenership over in the States.
We get
huge.
Maybe no one from Charlotte.
Lots.
You
That's the
never-
number one.
Is that?
Don't
No.
you listen from Charlotte?
I do, but I'm here now.
Did you?
Oh, so in theory, I am listening.
You are
okay,
listening,
I get.
the
So 100% listenership in
Yes.
Charlotte is confirmed.
the
okay.
fan mail that we get on a weekly basis is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's buckets
Yeah.
of mail.
Yeah.
That's
Some. We should actually do one of those unboxing shows where people just send us stuff and we have to unbox it on air.
Let's do that because we do get tons of beer,
Yeah.
and then you never know. We might get whatever other stuff.
What sort of other stuff?
More beer. Hey guys, so this is Hashtag Beer Time, and we want to talk about some upcoming events. And the one big upcoming event this week, no, it's not Valentine's Day, although we will be drinking some beautiful, lovely beer with our loved ones. And on the 15th, the next day at Banana Jam, there's something called the Great Wort Challenge. What does the Great Wort Challenge mean? Well, great, you know that word. Wort is the sticky liquid substance you get after you mix the grains with water and then you get this, this pre-fermented beer, so to speak. And what they are doing at Banana Jam, part of the Southeasters initiative, is to get more people homebrewing. So Banana Jam, great from Banana Jam, is making, I think, Mazza, you said 400 liters?
I don't
something around
that,
there,
yeah.
and then everyone who signed up is bringing some of their fermenters, and then they're going to actually boil and add the hops and make their own style of beer. And then whoever bottles fermented or fermented in bottles brings it to the summer, the Southeast Summer Festival, I think in April. Then wins a dinner for two. No, it wins a big prize.
There's some good prizes going out, I think.
Did I manage to say everything I needed to say?
Yeah, I just lost it when that was some premium radio time right there. Great, you know that word. That was, I thoroughly.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I shut off after that.
Okay,
but it sounds like you got everything out.
We'll
there.
extract that from and put it onto the best of.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Every
basically,
show.
the whole concept of the Great Word Challenge is that the hard part of normally with home brewing, it's hard to get your efficiency as high as a commercial brewery can get it, and also this now means that everyone's
What do you mean
going
by
to have
efficiency?
the amount of sugars you can extract from your grain, the potential.
So measured in a percentage.
Yeah. There we go. So the Great Word Challenge is just getting a high, or not necessarily higher, it's just the main thing behind it is getting everyone to have the starting base beer, and then you can work with your hops and your fermentation, your yeast and your fermentation characteristics and all of that.
Cool. What else did I want to talk about? I think in terms of events, that was it. I think. No.
That's it.
No, that's it. That's it in terms of events. But do you want to...
Is Hop Tour fully subscribed?
It's fully subscribed. No, we do have probably 2 or 3 spots available. But you're not going to join us, hey?
Yeah, it's the first one I'm missing since its inception.
It's going to be big. We're not holding back. It's going
Who the culprits going up? The usual culprits.
Well, actually, speaking of Banana Jam, we might get Greg Casey to join us.
But he's been the last 2. He's been every year.
He didn't go last year. He was there.
No, he did.
Was he there last year?
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he was there.
It was a blur.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't know what we're talking about the annual Hop Tour to George, where a few what should I say, ragabagas
Delinquents
go up, drive up to George. We go look at the Hop Institute, which is
always fascinating
tour of how they are developing hops in South Africa and what new styles they're coming up with. We walk through the harvesting plants, how they strip the hop cones from the vines, and by the end of that, you just so damn thirsty.
Yeah,
You just goes. We go back to the guest house and we just smash beers.
It's a great beers. There's great food. The chat is phenomenal.
Yes.
There comes the time where, what's his name? Dennis the Silver will tell you it's joke time.
Yeah.
And then he's standing in the circle with everyone who's like 12 beers down, and now you have to tell a joke.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And I don't think when
I
we were
remember
there...
we go around, okay, not your turn.
your turn. And then
you're like,
whoever tells the joke normally laughs very hard, and everyone else is just like, that was so shit.
Yeah.
Greg and Carl just told the most controversial jokes I think I've ever heard in my life. Very funny though.
Okay, good. Yes, okay, good. About beer and Brian, I would imagine.
Yes. Yeah, because it's just I said it last time, if you are on the fence about going, just do it, because it's worth it.
No, it's definitely a must-see. And then obviously, of course, a reminder about the Fools and Fans Festival.
Yes.
7th of April. It's starting to get a lot closer now, but I think we're starting to ramp up in terms of organising, getting stuff sorted, getting new shirts, caps, the whole
shebang.
But that's happening great on the 7th of April, so make sure you get accommodation, make sure you get tickets. It's going to be a very fun affair. Right.
Next
we're,
beer.
We're approaching the hour, and it's time for our final beer, believe it or not, and we are finishing off on a high.
I know Troy's very excited.
I'm
about
very
this one.
excited. I would never not be excited if
Did you mule all of these beers that we're having today?
I muled these 4 and 3 more. One for my father-in-law, one for my dad, and one for my sister-in-law. So there are a couple in there.
importance.
Yeah, hit the family members.
Tell people what this beer is.
So this is, well, I know very little about this beer because it was a request from Troy for one of their new beers. The only thing I know is that they boil the hops for 60 minutes, and that's how it gets its name.
Is that not 90 minutes?
No, this was the 60-minute one. There is a 90-minute
Yeah.
variant. This is the sequel to the 90-minute.
So just a little backstory. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Dogfish Head 60 Minutes IPA. What makes it so unique and why they call it 60 Minutes IPA is because it's continually hopped.
Every minute.
When they made the initial test batch, it was literally one hop cone. So not hop, one hop pellets a minute.
One per. That's what they did for
Their test batch. So obviously, when it's scaled up to a bigger batch, then they had to.
Yeah.
But it says here, our continually hops, super fantastic East Coast IPA, brewed with a slew of great Northwest hops for a powerful but balanced citrusy hop character. 6% alcohol.
I didn't know that they did it with 1 pellet per minute for their test batch.
So we're not going to get any of this.
What was the last Dogfish Head beer we had here? Not with Murray, before that.
Was it the citrus? It was the lemon,
No.
black lemon.
Yeah, but that was with Murray, without Murray. Shot.
Maybe it was the 90 minutes. Cheers, gents. It's been great to have you on the show.
Cheers, thank you.
Very excited.
Dane, thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for muling these.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. So do you get a lot of Dogfish Head available in your area?
Yeah, there's a constant stream of it that comes in. This was picked up from Trader Joe's, a little grocery store. But yeah, there's enough flow of beer from outside North Carolina to keep you entertained.
What are the shelves looking like? It's quite a weird question, but I am fascinated to know the retail aspects, because even when I was in New York, there was every little shop that I went into, there was, you would see your Sierra Nevadas, your Goose Island, your Dogfish Head, for example. So it's obviously they're a quite biggish company
Yeah.
in terms of volume.
Yeah, you've got I want to say, I could be wrong, but Highland started off bottling at Goosehead. I think that's where their first kind of batches went before they started getting there and kind of bottling. So you do have those really big craft beer companies out there that is, stocked to the brim, but your left-hand side of the store is your domestic beers that you just ignore. And then the right-hand side is where all the good beers kind of happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's because North Carolina is such a big kind of craft brewer, we get so many different ones in because we export out enough. We kind of have a bit of a trade going on. But yet, our stuff that we get from Fat Tire or New Belgium comes from their Colorado brewery, even though there's one just in Nashville that's 2 hours away. We get it from... So it's weird that they send stuff out. I think it's because...
Pre-existing distribution networks.
It could be that, or it could also be because so many times they only have North Carolina beers on special. So if they have Fat Tire from North Carolina, or if it's from Colorado, it's the exact same beer, but they can charge you an extra $1 or $2 because it's not from North Carolina. Yeah, it's interesting. But then, beers come on special. As soon as they come on special, that's when you can start exploring and trying different things. And
I need to get back to the States. Mazza, what do you think about that?
So, I agree. I want to say there's something about this, and it's not the perception that it's a Dogfish Head beer or that it's from the States or that it's better than what we've got. I said it last week. There's a difference to it. and I don't know whether it's. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to have ours next, like our local IPAs next to something like this. But the hop, I don't think the hop character on this is huge, like we getting in a lot of our local IPAs. I think our local IPAs are very unique, and this is delicious and it's very well balanced, and it's got this other thing to it that I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Okay, so you're talking about just purely taste
and aroma.
Okay. Let's talk about in terms of beer judging, like taste and aroma.
Yeah.
Now, I also when I was up in Joburg and I went to Mad Giant for the first time, I tried the pale ale and it was incredibly hoppy, and I was like, wow, it's also light-bodied. How do they do this? So I do think South African beers are moving now towards that clean profile, because we're starting to use correct water profile, the correct amount of hops, correct amount of malt to make it a world-class beer. I think and let's say South African beers are on that track and they are sticking to that kind of guideline. I think the big difference still is the use of hops. In America is just overflowing with hop variety. I think we, as a South African country, we try and use local stuff. And if we do use an international brand, we're not going to go balls to the wall and get everything from a different country. We're going to be very selective and get that hop. But I hear exactly what you're saying in terms of where we are in terms of the country and our beers and moving forward to catch up to a world-class level. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying we need to catch up to a world-class level. I think our beers are unique in that I would put them on the same level. They're just different. If you drink this IPA and our local IPAs, they're different beers.
Do you not prefer the international IPAs?
I wouldn't say I prefer it. It's just that I don't drink it as often. So it's a more refreshing, not refreshing and like thirst quenching, but just refreshing that it's a new style almost. It's a different kind of beer for me. It's an IPA, but I think maybe because our perception and how we judge IPAs and what we've had of IPAs, we've sort of created our own perception of what it should be. And that's cool. That's nice. Like I'm happy with that, because that is the uniqueness that our South African market's bringing. But there's no IPA in South Africa that tastes like this.
No.
And it's not because this is better or because it's worse. It's just different. And I don't know what it is. There's like this, I don't know. It doesn't like...
Well, that's what I was saying. I think it is that availability of ingredients. Sure, the water profile over there is different, but we've got that kind of science now where we can manipulate.
Maybe it is the freshness, not the freshness, but the availability of it.
Because I do feel like I'm not going to repeat myself, but I hear what you're saying. The difference in beer.
It could also be, from chatting to brewers over back in the US, they're saying that when IPAs came up, that's what everyone wanted to drink, was IPA. And now they've become a bit sick of IPAs. So they want something a bit different. So they still want that IPA taste, but not that sharp hoppiness. They want, because they've kind of become a bit numb to it. Which is why you probably have beers like this that are coming out that's still an IPA. People still recognize it as, okay, we know what style it is, but it has a little bit of a twist to it. It's not your normal just throw in the hops and just get that.
It's really
kind of taste.
It's really not like bitter.
No, it's.
I'm not saying an IPA has to be overly bitter or that ours are. It's just like it's not hugely aromatic. It doesn't give me a big.
No, I know. You could argue that this is a session IPA and that they've made it on purpose like this, but it's even when you compare it to the South African beers, this is a lot more hoppier and flavorful and aromatic.
Very good.
Yeah, some of the brewers were saying that they're going to stop brewing IPAs because people don't want it anymore at a brewery. Yeah.
At certain breweries?
Certain breweries, yeah.
Wow.
I was just saying the kind of palate's changing and they've just had enough of it.
Where do they know specifically where the palate's going?
I think they are trying to maybe push more of a wheat beer now. Kind of some wheats, maybe more a wheat
Fruity
pale
beer.
ale kind of combination. We went to a brewery called Cavendish Brewery in Gastonia, which is about an hour and a half outside of Charlotte. It was the first time I've seen you can go and mix. You can mix a blonde with a pale ale, and it's like a specific kind, and they've labeled it as this. And
So they're creating they're like hybridizing their
yeah,
beers.
but off tap. So you can have a third IPA, a third blonde, and then like a third lager, so that you've got
I like that idea. I mean, I think a lot of people would look at it and say, well, it's not like true to the style, but
No,
whoever's drinking it
I
has their
think
own say.
I think it's quite clever in terms of the marketing and sales scheme. I think I read somewhere in New Zealand where I think it was Firestone Walker or some brewery in the States released like eight different sets of beers, and they all had their own unique flavor, but they were made. Their primary function was to be mixed.
So those specific ones,
those
they would
8,
be able
you
to
could
mix.
cross mix. So how many different beers could you make? Is it
4.
Is it 8 times 8 or is it 8 times?
It's 8 times 8.
Is it 8 times 8? It's probably someone at home. Oh man.
No, it's 16 different times.
Yeah.
But New Belgium did that now for Christmas. It was called the Brewmasters Collection, and they had a
Maybe it was New Belgium.
and they had, they had their kind of winter lagers and their tripels and stuff like that, and they taught you exactly what you should mix with what to get any kind of beer. And you bought it as a 12-pack and had a bit of an extraction each week of which beer to make. So
See, that's cool.
Yeah.
it seems to be becoming a bit of a trend at the moment, like experimenting from the brewer side of things and your kind of target audience being like, well, I trust these guys, so let me try it.
And then you're also getting stuff like there's an education in that, in showing that it doesn't necessarily have to be something you've heard of for you to have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It could just be really stout mixed with saison, which sounds terrible, but maybe it's got something that works with it and it's delicious.
Yeah.
Someone will enjoy it. Someone will.
That someone will be me. Just having a nice, refreshing drink of water before we wrap up the show. And yeah, I can't believe we've gone an hour. It's gone very quickly, as always.
Flies by.
Flies by.
All delicious.
Mazza, did you enjoy the beers?
I love them. Very, as I say, it's always just refreshing to have stuff that isn't readily available here.
I think this is good. We need to keep this going. Try new beers.
It's also a big sign, sorry to interrupt, it's a big sign that what we've got here, a lot of people think that the market is saturated and that we sort of like, there's just too much beer around. And there isn't, because we get excited when there's new beer because we've had it all.
Yeah.
You know, we've had it all, and it's nice to try something else and to have something else that is not necessarily from here.
Well, look, if you guys want to sponsor me a flight once a month, I can...
Yeah, listen, the hashtag beer time budget can...
Don't.
is-
Careful what you wish for. Hey,
With
we'll.
the new Country Road sponsorship,
It's not business class either. It'll be economy.
That's
it'll
fine.
be in Troy's Country Road bag with two fragile stickers on it. So
Yeah.
you better hope you don't come down the OR Tambo ramp.
I think Troy will just hope that I don't drink all the beers while I'm locked up in that place.
Won't happen. Mr. Dane, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for bringing these beers.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Did you have a good time?
I did. It was very good. How can you not have a good time drinking beer?
Yeah.
No.
mean,
Yes. That's like
if-
I get paid for this. Can you believe this?
Oh, but...
No. I'm crying inside. No, but yeah. Again, thank you very much. It's always appreciated. You bringing some beers back, and
And you know, next time...
hopefully, come on, let's put it out there. I'm going to come visit you soon this year. Let's just put it out there.
Well,
Knock on your door. Hey.
From here,
Yeah.
have some Highland Gaelic ales.
actually, so you'll be able to find my house. Just ask.
The girls can go drink their rosé, and then
We'll go to Asheville for the weekend.
There we go. I like the sound of that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for listening. I think that's a good place to wrap up the show. And yeah, we're going to see you next week. We've got a nice show lined up with Bruce from Stellies. Actually, probably need to just phone him and just confirm a few things. And yeah, we've got lots of cool things happening up in the next few weeks. So we hope you stay in. Tune in. Enjoy the vibe. Enjoy the holiday. Tuition Vibe Radio.
What's a weekend when your life's a holiday?
Oh, yeah. I don't want to say goodbye.
Station manager's not going to enjoy that.
No, he will. He might actually use it.
Oh.
I think that was creative. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, my name is Mother.
My name's Troy Lilly, and
let's just go play a song. Let's just find some music.
that image of you in the water polo pool. Just
say goodbye.
segue out very nicely.
Very nicely. You have to.
You just saw that. You saw the song and you tied it into what we were
No,
talking
exactly.
about.
That's what. Master, I can teach you a few things about radio DJ. It's not for anyone. You need to be clued up. Cool, guys. We'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for #BeerTime. That's #BeerTime written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check you next time. Cheers.